It is hockey season. It's one of my favorite times of the year. It's one of Dan Hinckley's favorite times of the year. So I would imagine it is this guy's favorite time of the year as well. He is the head coach of the Adirondack Thunder and a good friend of the Drive with Charlie and Dan. He is Pete MacArthur. Coach MacArthur, good afternoon, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well, guys. Thanks for having me. I hope you guys are doing well also, and you're darn right. I'm definitely very excited that it's officially hockey season again.
It's definitely our selfishly our favorite time of the year. So it's great to be able to have you back here on the Drive, and we're excited for another season, getting to talk to you and stay up to date. Now, I know last season was there was a lot of transition and a lot of change for you personally. You know, moving to the bench and taking over this group. So I'm curious, heading into now a full season where you're coming off of a year coaching and going into another year. How do you feel about where you sit right now as the coach of this group versus where you felt a year ago?
Oh, well, it's certainly different as it pertains to, what the expectation is of me, not only, working with our players, one-on-one or collectively as a group, but, what comes my way on a daily basis as it pertains to the management and the hockey ops side of things.
Right.
So I feel like I can manage my time a lot better. It's kind of like going from junior hockey, if you're not in school and all you got to worry about is playing, and then you get to college and you got class, and you got to have food and meals, and you got workouts and practice and games and travel. You just have to learn how to manage your time. So I think Bergie and I have a better grasp, on that expectation, like I alluded to, and we can really focus our time correctly.
So give us a quick insight into the kind of the team building aspect of your job and really the front office as a whole. As as affiliates work in the ECHL, you have some players that join the group, other players coming from other places. So what does that process look like during the off season and how you're involved with it?
Well, during the off season?
Yeah.
Well, I'm down in Clifton Park a lot in the off season, but for us, our job here in Adirondack, we're a small community, and people that work behind the scenes have been together for a while, and they do a phenomenal job of entertaining our community.
Okay.
And the game day experience here in the ECHL is like none other, and I think that players are starting to realize that. So a big part of our recruitment conversations is about how it is important for everyone to be involved, from the fans to the people upstairs. We want the players to be able to put names to faces and make those connections. And I think that the guys that we have here, they understand that. They want to be a part of it, and they realize that it is a special place to play. So we had more time this summer to kind of focus on the type of people and players also that we needed here.
Yeah.
And you can kind of see the early returns in that, just as it pertains to the rapport from the guys in the dressing room filtering out, up to the front office and into the crowd as well. We just have a group of guys that they're fully engaged right now with what we're trying to do from top to bottom.
Very interesting. That's a very cool note, and you're so right about being able to tell players and kind of sell them on, hey, you're not going to get a fan experience like this anywhere else when it comes to the level that you're playing at. So that's such a cool thing to be able to give out to these guys and bring in a good group. Let's go through that group, and one of the players I want to start with. We get the news of the welcome return of Shane Harper, who we've talked about with you a lot on this program, but having him back in the mix as well, speaking of a face that fans will recognize, I have to imagine that's an immediate shot to the arm on the offensive end.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, anytime you put an NHL caliber player with his skating and his technical skill, it's impossible not to be excited about it.
Yeah.
I think we've also got a group of players around him that can really skate and push the pace and handle the puck very well, and we're a highly intelligent group. So I think it puts a little bit less pressure on him to feel like he has to go out there and make something happen every shift, because anybody that's really watched our team play so far this year and understands the game will see that we're out shooting our opponents in every game, sometimes by a margin of 2-1. So
wow.
I think he jumps into a situation where he can just be himself and not really press to find opportunities and just play within the structure that we've kind of laid out the last couple of weeks.
Very interesting. Okay, that's a great spot for him to enter into. Now let's talk about the offense and the guys that have been assembled around him, and some of the newcomers that you're excited about. I am a graduate of Quinnipiac University, so I saw T.J. Friedman's name on the roster, and I was very excited for what he could bring to the group. But the newcomers on offense, who's made that impact early on?
Yeah, Freed is awesome. Actually, it's perfect that you mentioned him because he's a guy that really solidifies us down the middle.
Yeah.
He's smart. He's really good in the face-off circle. He tracks the puck well. Unfortunately, he did get hurt last game, so he'll be out for a minimum of 2 weeks.
Too bad.
But sometimes that's not a terrible thing early on in your pro career because now you'd never want a guy to get hurt, but now he can watch from up top and realize, like, hey, I have more time to make plays, and these are the areas of the ice that I can kind of exploit other teams and use my physical capabilities because he's a big guy and he doesn't seem to tire very easily. But two of the new guys that are really interesting up front are Jace Isley. He's a big left-handed forward who's got a heck of a motor. He doesn't seem to get tired either. He's very good on the forecheck, and once a puck goes in the net for him, he's going to only continue to elevate and become a guy he's definitely going to be playing in the American League at some point. And then on his other flank on the right is this kid. His name is Yushiro Hirano.
Right.
He's from Japan. He was actually in the very first training camp that the Thunder hosted. He ended up getting hurt as a young kid in that camp, and he went back home and played a year and a half in the Asian League before he eventually came back. And now we're really lucky to have him because he's a leader. He forechecks very hard. He's highly skilled, and he has an absolute cannon of a shot. And not to mention, he's just a good person. So those two guys are, they're exciting guys to watch. They play with energy. They bring a lot of life to our team. And I think that they're completely bought in on how we're trying to play.
Very nice. Very nice. Like that. Awesome.
Hey, Pete, looking forward to this weekend. You guys have a bit of a triple header going on. You've got the Admirals, the Mariners, and the Lions coming in. How do you guys match up this weekend against all three of those teams?
Well, we've seen the Mariners so far, and I think it's a pretty even matchup. They might have a little bit more size than us, and maybe we're a little bit quicker than them. So we're both strong in the net. So we'd like to get some revenge against those guys. But, more than that, it's just play the game the right way, and sometimes the chips just fall the way that they do. But Norfolk is certainly a different team. They've got several NHL contract defensemen with them, and they got a strong goaltender, and they've got some quick forwards that are skilled, and they like to go play offense. And Trois-Rivières is very similar. They like to try to get behind the defense, and they have a really strong power play, and they're a team they're pretty opportunistic, and they can fill the net. So it's nice to see some new opponents, and we've seen Worcester 4 out of the 5 so far, and we had some success against them. But now we got to continue putting our money where our mouths are, and make other teams kind of adjust to us and not change how we want to play just because we're playing against different teams.
Exciting weekend coming up as Dan Hinckley and Coach MacArthur mentioned. Again, he's the head coach of the Adirondack Thunder, Pete MacArthur. He joins us here on The Drive with Charlie and Dan. You got to go to ECHLthunder.com for tickets and more information. Home games on both the 10th and the 12th. That is Friday and Sunday of this weekend. So again, coming up tomorrow and then Sunday, you got to get your tickets. 7 o'clock on Friday, 3 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. We talked about the offense, Coach. I'd love to quickly bounce over to the defense and in goal, as you mentioned, goaltending a strong suit in the early going. So what do you make of the unit on defense? And then tell us a little bit about the goaltending this year as well.
Well, I don't think our D-corps couldn't be much more different. We've got Ethan Orgel and Bryce Martin back, but we've also brought in Colin Felix and Will McKinnon are here on AHL contracts right now who were with Reading last year. That we identified as good players, and we're really happy to have them as kind of our top D pair. And then we brought in Ryan Wheeler and Brendan Less early in the summer, both from, I guess they were both mostly on Iowa last year.
Okay.
Wheels got traded to Cincinnati, and we were able to get both of those guys without having to trade, and they're very good players, highly competitive, smart, skate, handle the puck. And we made a trade for Tristan Thompson, who runs one of our PP units and has played a couple of years in the league. And then we've got a rookie back there in the name of Devin Becker as well. So we're a little bit different on the back end. We're not overly sized, but we compete. Again, if you're watching and you're knowledgeable in the game, you understand that these defensemen are quick, they're on their toes, they have good details, and they're very difficult to play against, even though they're not overly sized. and that really helps our goalies. We do have the three-headed monster. Brodeur and Brennan are here on. Brennan's here on an NHL deal. Brodeur is here on an AHL deal, and Purpura is here on an East Coast League deal.
Right.
And they've all played so far this year. They've all played well, and they'll all start a game this weekend also. So it's win by committee, and everybody's on board. So those guys seem to understand what we're trying to accomplish here. So far, it's been nice to work with them.
That's outstanding. I mean, I feel like last year you guys, I don't know how deep you got down the goalie depth chart last year, but we were talking about players coming in on shorter term deals. I feel like almost weekly. So to have three guys that you can trust to begin the year, even if it's for nothing else than establishing depth in the early going, that's got to be a great thing to have in the back pocket.
Yeah, it helps us as a coaching staff, and honestly, it helps them. You don't want to. You should never get complacent in pro sports, especially at this level where the contracts are their day to day, literally.
Right.
But it just gives them a healthy competition, and we say it before every game, like, boys, if you want to play more, what do you have to do? And they all say, play better, and we say, exactly right. So. Pretty simple. There you
go. It's amazing. Yeah, boils down to that. It is pretty simple. Again, don't forget 2 chances to see this group on home ice this weekend. It is $3 Labatt Blue Light Night against the Norfolk Admirals on Friday night, 7 o'clock puck drop for that one. And then it is Naira Day on Sunday afternoon, 3 o'clock puck drop for that one as well, both at Cool Insuring Arena, ECHLThunder.com for tickets and more information. Coach MacArthur, we're excited to have you on the drive here moving forward to catch up with your group. Thanks so much for the time, and we'll talk to you very soon.
Yep, and just before I let you guys go, or you let me go, I just want to mention that I was told this morning that we only had 250 tickets left for tomorrow night. So if people want it, get on there quick. I appreciate your guys' support very much, and I look forward to continuing it this year again.